Well, howdy, y'all. I'm a little bit early. As usual, I had to restart the computer, and now Windows wants to take up every piece of disk space and CPU possible. But we will persevere. As I log on to the Twitch dashboard. Stream health. Excellent. Title 121. It's 121. Dingly do. What did I just get on my phone here? Oh, God. I've been getting a lot of spam messages on PlayStation. They need to start pumping up some spam filters on their messaging. I digress. The weather's cleared up. I thought it was going to be bad, but it went away just in time. So, I don't know if this is going to work all that well, but I'm going to open Spotify. If I upload this and you can hear music, I just want whatever YouTube flaggers or reviewers or whatever. Just notice Spotify free, all of what I listen to freely available to anyone. It'll even have ads, so it's not like I'm doing a disservice to the companies that take ad space. I just don't want it to be overpoweringly loud. So let me move it over here so I can see my mixer or whatever on my other screen. Yeah, it's a good cymbal. Good cymbal playing. Master Junior 93, hi, welcome. What were you playing anyway? Vocaloid junk. But, while I'm in there, let's see. I usually listen to this one when I'm, quote unquote programming. Uh, it's just 15 minutes of chill music, and it just helps me, get into the mood. So, YouTube, Spotify, look, it's all here. Anyone can listen to it. There's no reason for, takedown notices. It's so stupid. What a stupid thing that is. But again, I have no idea if you can even hear it, but I hear it. So it's more for me than anyone else. I just go crazy if it's silent. Ah, seltzer water. Drink of champions. So before we start with the stream proper, I'm going to let Unity load while I talk. I'm kind of at an exciting point in development. The programmer and I were talking yesterday about milestones and progress, and he's actually going to make a trip out here to Georgia for about a week, and we're going to marathon develop and program because it's convention time. I have to start submitting a build to conventions so that we can have not necessarily booth space or like a panel or anything like that, but just in case we want to showcase our game at a convention, I need to submit it and get it approved so they know, yeah, it's a thing, and they think that it's in a state that's ready to be shown at their convention. That Scribbler says, "Oh, crunch time." I don't know if it's crunch time. It's just I guess the term is a vertical slice. So we won't have all of our advanced features implemented. The idea is to not incorporate a party menu or weapon durability. Instead, we'll just have like a set batch of equipment that the characters have, and you'll be fully healed after battle. So it's not the final version of the battle system, but it allows you to play through the game and get a feel for the pacing and the style, and it lets you experience all the different elements, even if they're not in their final state. Or as other parts of the management world call it, poor project management. Yeah, so a preview build. Yeah, exactly. So it's not really crunch time, it's not like management issues. It's just we want to have something that these boards or groups of convention heads can look at and say, yeah, we want this at our show. So it's not necessarily end of development crunch time. It's just something that we can have prepared for them that'll get us into a show floor. And that would be really cool. I also opened up the line of communication with Sony again. I had kind of been quiet with them since I moved to Georgia because there's a whole bunch of crap you have to go through. Not just reincorporating the company from Washington to Georgia, but with Sony that also involves changing what IPs are whitelisted and blacklisted, getting yourself back in good standing with them, and just sort of showing them that our company moved, but we're still on track, and please consider us for part of your space at like E3 or something. They have, if you haven't been to E3, when the big console makers have a booth like Microsoft and Sony, Nintendo doesn't go to E3, I don't think. But Sony has like a giant show space, and they have dozens of TV screens and consoles that feature a bunch of the games coming out on their system. And it's not always ones that have like investment backing by Sony. It's just games on their platform that they want to have in their booth. And yeah, the bureaucratic shuffle, as they say. Yeah, it's accurate. And I want to see if we can get in that also. But to do that, I need to get back onto all of the Sony internal developer sites so I can download I'll just pop open build settings here. I only have those options on this computer. There's my old PS4. You have to actually have a specific PS4 module, and the best way to get that is through the internal Sony site. And until I have access to that again, which like I said, I can't get there because I moved and all the IPs are blacklisted here because they don't they don't know that I have a different IP now, so I have to get back with them and give them all that info. And that's how I can create a PS4 build. And that is what we would need to have if we showed it in their booth. But right now, our standard build is PC, Mac, and Linux. Linux, whatever. You can also see in the build settings, I've started to piece together the parts of the game that are done. And this is so when I do a build, you get the title screen with the splash images, it opens up into the prologue, the opening scene basically, and it warps you to the police station dungeon, the first floor. And then in the first floor, you find warps that take you to the second floor, and there's scenes throughout those, and that would essentially be the parts of the game that would be in a demo. So those are done. We just need the battle system functioning, which again, that's why the programmer's coming, because what we said in our meeting was that there's light at the end of the tunnel, but we're not approaching the end, but the end is, as he said, fathomable. So there is an end, and we can envision that it's on the horizon, which is cool. So anyway, there's just a lot of that sort of managerial crap. Since the last stream, I actually worked more on this second floor of the high school. I redid this room, which had a layout that I didn't like originally, but now I like it a little more. We got a couple boards and desks, so it matches the theme of these other rooms. And then this one is actually a story room. So I put this fake little screen in front of it so I know, like, don't put anything in this room, dude, because it's just an event. So there's nothing that needs to go in this room. So like this chair that I could get rid of if I wanted, but I don't care. Did a couple more rooms, and I stopped right around here. So for this floor, just to give you an overview, there's just this little bit back here, and this little bit up here, and the rest of it is complete, as you see. That is a big floor. If you get into random battles every 15-20 steps, which seems to be an average in games like Persona Q and Etrian Odyssey, is 15-20 steps, and battles take maybe 1 minute, just average 1 minute a battle. Yeah, you're looking at, this is probably an hour of gameplay if you're really, really quick. And that's just crawling. Just crawling. That's cool. That's good. Anyway, shall we proceed with creating this dungeon? I've also started putting in all these pillars because I was getting tired of seeing, the holes. So this is a false entry. So we need to rope it off with something. Got barrier here. Well, that's why I created environments like this. That's one, that's two, that's one, that's two. So we'll need to grab all these. Oops. I hit shift instead of Catarl. I also organized our hierarchy, so it's a little easier for me to grab things like this. And there's a little bonus one way out there, huh? Let's just dump that one. Also dump that one. And that one. Oh, crazy. Shoot. Stop it. Cool. That's why I was doing that. Oh, yeah. Cool. Simple. Ooh, lots of chat stuff going on. Bad scribbler. I know such programmer talk. I have given it. So just going to be a black void in game when you look in the doorway, maybe just the door. All power to the forward proceed, Captain Tired. Also, I flip-flopped a few times on out of nowhere battles. They can be annoying, but damn if actually putting on touch enemies on the field adds anything more than you run straight toward them or learn to juke to avoid them. I know. You have to pick your poison in the end. I know I have two projects at both sides of that coin. Yes, that's actually a really fascinating, would you call it an argument? Um, between planned encounters, visible enemies, and random encounters. This game's a mix of random and planned. Um, what did I say the other one was? Planned, random, and visible? Visible. Yeah, visible stuff are enemies you see on the screen, and they chase you, usually. Um, yeah, yeah, I see the pros and cons of all of them. But especially for a dungeon crawler, it seems like making sure you have some sort of balance. I like to do planned and random just because that's what I see a lot in these types of games. They have the little icons for planned encounters, like I would put one here probably, and then there might be like treasure right there. So you have to be able to defeat whatever enemy set we create there. Maybe it'll be a really tough enemy, and that'll be like a really good piece of treasure. Um, that's a little bit better than pure random encounters. And like Bad Scribbler said, with visible encounters, all you do is learn to just sort of run around them. And that way, I almost feel like visible encounters do a disservice to game balance, because a lot of people will just try to avoid as many battles as possible. And then when they get to a boss, they can't beat it, then they whine like, this is stupid, it's too hard. And it's your own fault. I don't know how else to put it. It's your own fault. But oh, Sam Adams commercial, awesome. I'm not gonna talk until it's done because it's really annoying. Yeah, ZipRecruiter. That's great. Now companies don't have to actually read resumes anymore. Because, God forbid, you actually have to research the people you're hiring, right? And a Home Depot commercial? My God. You really want me to buy premium, don't you? Okay. Yay. Bling. Brad Scribbler in the chat says that the visible enemies he's working on is like turn-based FOE, which they use in the Etrian Odyssey and Persona Q. Yeah, that's pretty much the best way to do visible encounters if you're doing a dungeon crawler. I agree with that. And Persona Q did a pretty good job with it because it turned those encounters kind of into a puzzle, how to avoid them, and they made them. It was nice. I don't have a whole lot bad to say about that game. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Oh, really? Sounds rough, Miku. Totally. It's trying to make it seem obstacle-ish within this square. Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't really feel like walking over that. But just for good measure, God, wow. Where did I just go? I'm a little too sensitive on the control there. Oops. Wrong one. It's pretty close. This is another thing. Why did I put those there? I don't want that. Let's just make sure it's not hitting me. Yes, yeah. On that one. Let's drop that in there. What did I do over here with that? Ah, yes. The book stack. Cool. Works for me. No, that's stupid. I don't want to do that. Was that a dick butt on the desk? They ask. I'm assuming it was, this? A little, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8-legged chicken with a pompadour? Yeah, it's a good guess, though. I mean, it could be if you wanted to. I'm not opposed. Whatever. Ooh. Like our, decomposition book. God, I hated those books. Mine would always fall apart. That's why I make a joke about it. What do I want to do with this little corner? What can you do with that? I can put, kind of. Obstacle, do not hop over. Sure, 0.23, whatever. More books. I love books. What else can we put back here? Perhaps they were guarding this precious vending machine, which is no longer operational. Nope. I think that's pretty good then. Whatever. Eat when hungry. It's true. Can't see those. Alright. Now I'm actually gonna pull from different dungeon assets. Just to really confuse people. They were serious about guarding this. Nope. Why not, right? Oh my god. That guy was really camping out there, huh? Book title of book hidden behind obstacles. How to defeat the final boss. Yeah, it's pretty great. You know, you're probably doing more work than most AA, AAA studios when you have a fixed camera and you go to ground level to make sure it's placed right. Because no one else would see it. I approve, though. If you're going to do it right. Oh no, he's mixing dungeon themes. Elaborate theories on how two areas are connected? Yeah. And yeah, I probably am doing more work than other companies in terms of like fixed camera, ground level, doing all the placement. And it's not because they don't do it, but I think they have tools that make it a lot easier. And I do not. And that's fine. You know, I don't mind doing the work. But yeah, I kind of want to not set a standard, but I want our company to sort of have, how do I put it? I don't want us to be like just another indie studio. I want us to look like we have. See, yeah, it's hard to say without sounding like an asshole, but I want to be more, and I want us to be around for a while, and not just be an indie studio that puts out one game and then vanishes forever. This is just the first step. I'm trying to think what I want to do with these other little spots. I'm thinking lockers. Just because there aren't a whole lot in this room. But I'm also thinking just another set of walls. I think I might actually just do the walls. It's okay to have walls every now and then. Yeah, I knew I had one. Try premium. No. Skip down this. Oh god, it ruined this. Oh wait, no it didn't. It just ruined this. Oops. Wrong arrow. Eh? And what this spot here will be is just a sort of a locked room type area. There's no way to get there. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I can get there. Cool. Still the matter of this. That's what I do think lockers are the answer. At least on this side. I will say you have proven you do have a lot of passion for the project. You went through 2 Kickstarters and are holding down some part-time commission jobs to keep it afloat when that didn't work, with some, but not all, support from the Patreon. It's true. And that actually reminds me, I did just take on another commission project, so my time is going to be split until the end. I think it ends like there, so end of February. But it's not massive, so I'll have plenty of time to work on both. It just depends on the sorts of deadlines and progress they expect day after day. Not too worried about it though. It should be fine. Actually, why don't I just do there what I did over here? No, not that one. Yeah, like this. Oh yeah, I got rid of all these prefabs. That's why it's a pain in the butt. I like my poltergeist chairs. And then I have... Actually, I did it somewhere else. Let me pull those. Yeah. Yes, excellent. Oops, that's the wrong direction entirely. It might be sticking out too far now, which means we'll have to move these a little further in, or out, 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 out? No, just this direction. Yeah, that'll be a little better. Wow. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yes. I want to use, crap, I forgot already. Teacher desk. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter. I know how. You, like, read resumes. Freaking lazy ass modern age. Rabble, rabble. Any clippage going on there? Nope. Alright. I think that works. And then we can use this wall as a whiteboard. Not to pump your ego, if it gets too big, I'll be the first to make some trolling jokes to deflate it a bit at least. I support that. That's great. Mystic Walker S. Good day. Thought I'd log in for a change instead of lurking and ask how everything is going. Hi, Mystic Walker. Thanks for coming on in. Things are going pretty well, as you can see. I see that. At least it livens up the chat for Bad Scribbler talking. Just glad I don't know Talker. Dungeon looks better every time I see it. It's pretty cool. Thank you. Bad Scribbler says agreed. I have no idea where he's getting the ads from. I assume he has TV rating on. Yeah, I have Spotify on. I guess it doesn't pop up for you guys, so it's just my voice against the void of nothingness. That's okay though. Let's see. So I can have one whiteboard here. Then maybe a cork board there for like the little club sign up stuff that's all over the place. But which one do we want? English lit? English lit? Generic Japanese lit? Let's do Nihongo literature. Pardon my frame rate. I don't think my laptop likes streaming and Spotify and Unity. But it's just gonna have to deal with it, because that's what I'm doing. .52, let's just do 19.5. Then here we'll have a cool little club sign up. Ah, that worked out. Nice. And oops, 0.4, no, 0.3, 5.3. Ah, you can see our canvas in the background. All of our dialogue events like magically transport over to this thing. It's kind of cool. Anyway, it's neither here nor there. Oh man. It's because my prefabs are aligned different. It's a bummer. It's too much math. I'll just eyeball it. There we go. It's pretty good. Yeah. The seam doesn't seem visible from that view. Alright! You got yourself most of another classroom. Put a little bag rack. Oops. Oops again. There it is. Sweet. from this area over here. Not all of them, just some. Voila! Just one or two more little touches. Every room should have a little clock. Question mark? So, just a random question, I guess. How many of you guys, when you were in school, or if you're still in school, do your classrooms have their clocks plainly visible to students, or do they try to hide them now? Like, do they try to make it so you're not constantly watching the clock? Because when I was in school, they were always above the whiteboard or blackboard, whatever it was at the time. Just curious, I guess. And the other thing we need are PA speakers. Like that one. Asterisk. No. It's good enough. Cool. Shall we check it out? Just gonna put all this stuff away here. That's just wall stuff. And the rest I'll just do later. Oh, I could do that one. I don't know if like organizing your hierarchy helps with load times or anything like that, but I don't know. Yeah, whatever. It helps to do. Okay, I'm gonna go back over to the chat here. I was not paying attention. I got into it. Funny, I watched another streamer that has also said that the last few days. Oh, Sugoi. Great, awesome. Watch so much anime, but sometimes when I see the words, the tone of the word doesn't click in my mind. Yeah, it's true. Let me see. Oh, no, your Romaji for it was fine. Although I would technically argue they don't use capitalization, but that really doesn't matter. It's that right screw, man, on those hangers. They just wear out. It's true. As for the clocks, both Bad Scribbler and Mystic Walker S say it was in the back, hung in the back of the class, and wall front in the corner, so the teacher could watch the time. That makes sense. Yeah, that makes total sense. For the teacher to watch the time. Alright, now where did I load myself in? That's the question. I guess we can tour. Ooh, the fire extinguisher. I actually hadn't loaded in to look at them, but I put those in at some point. And again, apologies for the frame rate. It's my computer. We haven't even implemented any like 30 frame per second target within the Unity engine, so it's just doing its best. This way? Nope. But as I've said in other streams where I'm like wandering around, I guess it's the sign of a good dungeon if I still get lost in it. Nope, that ain't it either. Poop. I think it's actually it's not my fault. There's two sections, and this is part of the section you can't actually get to from this side. See, it all cuts off right here. So there's one set of stairs around here someplace. So let's see up there, and there's another set of stairs around there. So I'll just cheat and toss myself in. Toss my own salad right there, as they say. Cool. Hey, I found it! I'm so great. Alright, alright. Yeah, this looks properly obstacle-ish. Can't go that way. Maybe I'll go this way. Oh, no, no. There's just bookcases and crap everywhere. A copy of The Merchant of Venice and Bram Stoker's Dracula. Cool. Whatever those are. Books. Yeah, alright. See, this is what I'm wondering about. Because this was a strange corner. I'm looking for any sort of clipping. When I turn, I wonder if that clips, but I turn so fast I don't think you can tell anyway. Wish I could move that mini-map out of the way. I wonder if that's clipping. I think it's passable. I think that's passable. Big empty room. Links to big empty room. Links to place we haven't done yet. And another place we haven't done. Okay. Tick tock, tick tock. Alright. What do I want to do with these empty rooms? I guess I could do something similar to over here and just sort of make them into locker rooms or library. Either way, I need to put chairs against those doors. I put chairs against the doors just so when you're playing it, you don't think, like, why can't I go through this door? This way it kind of looks more like, oh, this door is blocked off? Obstacled? I don't have any facing that direction, so I have to pull one. Right about there. Sure. Looks passable from afar, I think, from the game's camera. I am Dracula. Need a slow turning speed option. I do have that. It would involve a whole lot of me like putzing around and figuring out where it is, but I know I've done it in another stream. I slowed down the walking speed and the turning speed. Let's see. It's somewhere in the Move Player script. And loading up Visual Studio is going to be a huge wait. Like most Microsoft products, it is very efficient at loading. Ha ha ha. Is that a joke? I don't even know anymore. Anyhow. Let's see. I think we can make one of these rooms sort of like a, not like a cafeteria, but a bit of a vending machine room, so we can have a couple different drinks. And then the other one can be a locker room. So, it's sort of like toss your shit in the locker, go next door, grab your Fruitopia. You guys remember Fruitopia? No? Yes? I did. We had a vending machine in high school that vended Fruitopia, and it was like really overpriced, but it was right outside of our gym locker rooms. I digress again. We'll only make them drinks, though, since the guy was guarding the food one. Or girl, I don't know. The individual that doesn't exist, and it doesn't matter what they were. Inclusiveness. Let's steal this trash can. Fontaine oranges are the best. And there's her orange juice, CC's orange juice. Those little Easter eggs you'll never see in the game itself, right? Let's see if I can pull closer. It's not close enough. I want it right in my face. Yeah. Uncle Muscle's hot dog protein milkshake. Muscle is beautiful. Kuro coffee. The 3D artist is so clever with that, because it's like those rhyme, but it's Black Crow coffee, black coffee, yada yada. Cream corn soda, a popular staple in the Undead Darlings universe. Fontaine orange juice. And your standard matcha green tea. I say matcha just to be annoying. Let's see, anything different in here? Moo cow chocolate. Sweet adzuki soup. Delicious, hot or cold. Bring back warm winter childhood memories. Juice Jitsu wheatgrass smoothie. Courtesy of Summer's family business. That's why it's her vending machine, and that's the Fontaine vending machine. It's never really like gone into in the game, but they're sort of rival businesses in a way. But the Fontaine family has a lot more than drinks. Mystic Walker S asks, just a normal question if I may. Where did you get the inspiration to do a first-person kind of maze gameplay? Personally, it makes me think of Shining in the Darkness and more recently, Demon Gaze. Yeah, Demon Gaze was a major inspiration, actually. When I was at NIS America, I pushed really, really hard for them to license Demon Gaze because it seemed like a very, very good dungeon crawler. And, lucky for me, and feather in my cap, I guess. They did end up licensing it, and it was a success. And I've liked dungeon crawlers since not terribly long ago, I guess. The first Etrian Odyssey really set me off down that path, and then I kind of went back and collected older ones. So Shining in the Darkness is one that I missed when that came out. But I guess you could count the very, very first Phantasy Star on the Sega Master System as a dungeon crawler, because the dungeons were first person, but the rest of the game wasn't. But I decided to do this approach with this game specifically after playing Dungeon Travelers and Dungeon Travelers 2, because those were part visual novel, like hardly, but with dungeon crawl. And I thought they were two genres that would mesh well together. And also, I did it from a scope standpoint. When you're creating a game, there's a lot of scoping elements you have to keep in mind. Like, if you want to do an action RPG, you're going to have real-time physics and AI. And if you're doing a strategy RPG, you have to have AI, and the battle system has to be... there's just a lot more work involved. And I think a lot of small developers start out thinking, like, I want to make this type of game because I really liked X or Y game. And then once they start really digging into it, like, oh, fudge. There's a lot more involved than I thought. And then they vanish after their Kickstarter succeeds. Tasted a little bitter there. Not my intention, my apologies. But dungeon crawling, all of your 3D elements are static. They don't have to have any physics. All they are walls. Like, it's just walls. And on top of that, your battle system is turn-based, so your enemy AI can be basic conditionals. Like, if their HP is above a certain amount, there's this % chance they'll do Y action. And where you really start to stand out with battle system in a dungeon crawler is how you just make it different from others. And that's what we're working on right now. Well, I'm not. I'm working on putting bottles in a trash can. Of course. I'm gonna steal one of these milks from here. Put it in that back corner. you won't be able to see it too well in the game, so it's alright. You'll be looking at it sort of like that, maybe. Yeah. So that looks cool. Looks good. This is me. I looked at it. It was actually a girl called Autumn. Oh, you goof. That is cool to hear. I love that game so much, Demon Gaze. Hundreds of hours into it. Yeah, same here. I did I buy it from the Japanese PlayStation Store, or did I get? No, I bought the actual Vita cart in Japan, and I didn't platinum that version, but I did platinum the English version after it came out. So I've played it multiple times. It's really fun. I like it. Strategy AI is a mess, like real-time AI. When you aren't going a bit scope crazy, aren't that bad. Just don't walk into walls and move toward enemy while hitting. Yeah. My RPG to tabletop and back again line of games, but I really enjoy a good RPG system. Same here. I'm starting to be a bit of an older gamer, so for me, the throwback to earlier gaming elements is a nice change in comparison to all the action from the past 10 years. I agree! Kingdom Death has some really major system ideas when it comes to their combat and their art style. By art style, I mean dicks on their models. Yeah, well, you'll get that. Yeah. And, where was it? Bad Scribbler, your RPG to tabletop line of games. I think tabletop games are underrepresented in the console space. I keep mentioning it in posts, but Unlimited Saga, sorely misunderstood game because it's a tabletop game. That's what it is. And I guess people that were trying to play it were like, this game sucks. And I understand that. Because it all of the rule sets in that game are borrowed from tabletop. Just double stack them, whatever. Okay, so you got sort of that stuff. A lot of people have no imagination or patience to get into a game that is static these days, with how overflooded the market has become. What do you mean by static? Just like a single screen game, or embrace or compete with nostalgia of turn-based games of old? I don't know, man. Your mileage may vary with either one, I guess. Where'd it go? There it is. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter. Had to actually interview people? God, what a novel idea. Sorry, I'm bitter. I've been trying to get a job because While freelance contracts are great, I need a little more steady income, and just do not get any feedback. Nobody contacts you. It's amazing. See, I can still see that seam. Oh, 6 is okay. That's worse. 4, 9. No, it's also worse. Roll with that. Ew, on Spotify, it's like one of these crappy remixes or something. Not a fan. Static as in tabletop, since you mentioned that format. Ah, I get what you mean. Yeah. Which is also kind of neat. When I was out in Seattle, there were a bunch of coffee places that were actually connected to tabletop game stores, and you could rent out the tabletop games, take them into the coffee shop, and sit there and play. So it was neato. Really neato. Trying to think what else I could slap in here, like in the intersection of 4 of them. Would his tables look entirely out of place? Yeah, it's too industrial. Nuts. Yeah. Bummer. Oh well. Lockers, floor. You know what? I think it's okay. There's a lot of games that have absolutely nothing. I shouldn't get hard on myself for that. What I can do is toss another one of these up. Just keep the walls a little exciting. Not exciting, but non-barren. Oh, it's a big wall there. Cool. It's not what I was looking for, but there we go. Baseball club. It's the only one that isn't like prefabbed onto corkboard. So I have to remind myself to put it out here every now and then. Does that show up at all? It's a corkboard. That's stupid. Stupid. Cool. Good enough for me. I'm really excited to get up to the third floor of this place, of this school, because I showed it in a different stream. We have all these cute little unique banners and such, all on blackboards, which I am so stoked that she did it on blackboard, because my plan all along was to have whiteboards on this floor and blackboards on the third floor. And that is exactly how it's going to work out. So that's awesome when a plan comes together. Cat Girl Maid Cafe. I just like the ribbon, the little paper chains and balloons. She does have a couple whiteboard ones, which is okay. I'll just probably not use them. Feel bad about it, but then again, it's just dropping that texture. So it's not a big deal, I don't think. It's not hurting her feelings. Chat, blah blah blah. No, when I was hunting work, the only place going back was the Chinese restaurant where I wanted to do dishes. I'd want to eat there every month. Yeah, it's delicious. It's amazing how little are in the games you like. Like when I tried to hash out what I should do for RPG systems, or how few dungeons there were. It's a huge list. It's all about how it is represented and meshed together. Yeah, better to have a focus than a shotgun. It's like a stew. Throw everything in, it'll come out bland. Throw some stuff you don't like and some choices and such. They're pretty good. I agree, yeah. That's why I'm not trying to overload every single room with like a ton of stuff. That's why I created, a set of prefabs, so to speak, that I draw from. Like how I just copied and pasted this group of desks instead of making a whole new setup. I don't think it does the memory any favors or disservice, but it's alright. Let's toss a TV in this corner. No, that's dumb. Why would you have a TV there? Silly. Alright, cool. So that's actually decent. That's a good amount of stuff that we did. I know it sometimes doesn't feel like it's like, it was just one room, but it's a sizable, that's technically 3 rooms. They're pretty big. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5 rooms left on this floor. That's a day's work. That's not bad. Can you tell I'm like starting to get to the wrap up point? Wrapping it up. This is crap. Get out of here. Save. Like all these open world games that have quests simply for the sake of having quests. Give me only a few, but that have meaning, and I'll be much more happy. Open world games are really weird to me. I personally dislike most of them, and how many so many games have shifted to those lately. I've never quite clicked with any of them. Just seems like a lot of work for the world to effectively be filler. So, yeah, I see what the chat folks are saying about open world games, and a lot of them do just have quests for the sake of having quests. But, and I am one of the largest evangelists I know for this game, but Dragon's Dogma, Dark Arisen, it is an open world game, but there's like 20 quests, and they're all pertinent, and they build the world out. And it forces you to really explore all the little areas in the world. And I guess technically there aren't a whole lot of dungeons in the game, but the ones that are there just feel so good. That game really is one of my favorite games the last several years. And I suppose I would have to recommend it on Steam because the frame rate is more consistent. The PlayStation 3 version really had some bad frame rate and slowdown, especially when you're fighting massive dragons and such. But I also have a problem with a lot of open world games, but that one, they nailed it in terms of Japanese style, but Western open world. It's I have nothing bad to say about that game. It really is the closest thing I've had to like my favorite game ever. I can't tell you how many times I've replayed it. In fact, I kind of want to play it now. Dang it. But yeah. I guess if anybody has trouble with open world games, please give that one a try because it's a good gateway into open world games. But not the gateway of like now I want more. It's the gateway of like, okay, this is what an open world game should be like, and I don't want more open than this. It's good. When it's done right, it's done right, as Mystic Walker S says. And that is correct. Love that game. I'm upset we didn't get the online one in the West, but maybe we will eventually, and maybe we'll get a second one. That's why I initially thought their announcement of Deep Down was going to be somewhat tangentially related to it, because Dragon's Dogma, DD, Deep Down, DD, they both had that sort of medieval Western style look. But that went into development hell. I don't know what happened deep down. Maybe they're remaking it into a Dragon's Dogma entry. We'll see, I guess. Balls in your court, Capcom. As for the stream, thank you guys for tuning in. It was really fun. We got some stuff done, got a lot of chatting. Next week, I actually want to do a public stream, so I'll advertise it for everybody. So I don't know if we'll get a whole lot more people watching, but what I'm going to work on this next week, other than trying to finish up this floor, is like I showed you in the build settings, I'm trying to build out, the sort of first 10 minutes of gameplay type thing. So we'll have the game start up, we'll have a scene, then we'll jump into a dungeon, and maybe I'll have the battle system in there. It won't be fleshed out, but it'll exist. I'll just see how it goes over the course of the week. If not, then we'll just do it without the battle system and just show people what we've been working on. I know one person who actually obeyed traffic laws in Grand Theft Auto and enjoyed it. Yeah. Alright guys, girls, whatever, whoever, doesn't, everyone, all walks of life, cows, if there are cows watching. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll talk to you guys later.